Hello students, today we shall see file handling commands in Linux Basics. The first file handling command is cat command. The cat command stands for concatenate. It is one of the most frequently used command in Linux. Cat command allows us to create. So the first function of cat command is to create single or multiple files. The second function is to view contents of file. And the third function is concatenate files and redirect output in terminal or files. Okay, so one single cat command does multiple functions. What is the syntax? Syntax is cat. We have some options to be given. It is not compulsory, and the name of the file or name of the files. So syntax of cat command. We shall see the first function of cat command, that is to display the contents of a file. To display the contents of a file, the syntax will be, at the bash prompt you have to type cat and the name of the file whose contents you want to see. Second function, view contents of multiple files in terminal. So if you want to see the contents of more than one files on the screen, you have to give the following syntax. This is an example: cat, the first file name and the second file name. You will be able to first see the contents of test file, and after that you will be able to see the contents of test1. Third function, create a file with cat command. If you want to create a new file using the cat command, we can use it like this: cat greater than sign and the name of the file. Okay, so this is for the first time newly you are creating the file, cat greater than and test2 file or the file name, new file name. You press enter, the cursor will be blinking over here, so it waits for input from the user. Type desired text and then press Ctrl D to exit. The text will be written in test2 file. We can see the contents of the file later by using the same cat command. Okay, so when you want to create a new file, type this with the new file name. The cursor will keep on blinking. It will wait for your input. Type whatever you want to type, and when you want to come out of it, press Ctrl D. Your file will get saved. So in this case you can see I have used cat and test. The contents of the files will get displayed. Next function, displaying line numbers in file. In this given example we have used cat, option we have used -n and the file name. When you type this at the bash prompt and you press enter, you will be able to see the contents of this file song.txt, and each statement will have a number starting from 1. So with -n option, cat command will display the line numbers in file. This will be displayed on the output terminal. Next function, use standard output with redirection operator. We can redirect standard output of a file into a new file or existing file with greater than symbol. Existing contents of test1 will be overwritten by contents of test file. So in this example, the contents of this file will be added to the contents of this file. But if test1 already has some data, it will be deleted, and then the contents of test will be returned to test1. So existing contents of test1 will be overwritten by contents of test file. So when we use this operation to copy data from one file to another file, the previous data of this file will get deleted. So if we want the previous data as well as we want to add new data, we are going to use the next option, that is appending standard output with redirection operator. Appends in existing file with double insertion or two greater than sign symbols. Here contents of test file will be appended at the end of test1 file. So when we use this symbol, the previous file's data will be as it is, that is test1, and the new file data will be added after that. Okay, so for example, here we have given cat test double greater than sign test1. So in this case, test1 data, previous data will be maintained and the new data will be appended or added at the last of this file from file test. Next function, cat command can display contents in reverse order using TAC command. So if you spell the CAT in reverse order, the contents of this file will be displayed in reverse order. Okay, this is the most important or nice feature of Linux to remember. Whenever you type the command name in reverse order, the function of that command will be done in reverse order. So in this case, if you write TAC file name, the contents of this file will be displayed in reverse order. And the last function of cat command is used to display the contents of all text files in the folder. So here is an example. If you write cat *txt, now here we have used a meta character asterisk. This command when executed will display the contents of all the files who have the last extension as .txt. If you want to see all the files having extension .c, you can also give over here cat *c. You will be able to see the contents of all the files having the extension .c. So with this we finish with the first file handling command, that is cat command. Next we'll move on to the second file handling command, that is cp. cp stands for copy. This command is used to copy files or group of files or directory. It creates an exact image of a file on a disk with different file names. cp command requires at least two file names in its arguments. So this cp command will require two file names as its arguments. We'll see the first syntax of cp command. cp with some option, and first is the source, that is which file you have to copy, and second argument is the destination, that is which file you have to copy into. So from, in this case, you are going to copy the contents from source into destination. So this is the first syntax. Second, cp with option, source and directory. You can copy from multiple files to one directory. Third option, cp sum option, source 1, source 2 and source 3. All these three will get copied into one directory. We shall see each in detail. First, copy source file, destination file. So the contents of this file will get copied into this file. If the command contains two file names, then it copies the contents of first file to the second file. If the second file does not exist, then first it creates one and contents are copied to it. But if it existed, then it simply overwritten without any warning. So we can see an example over here: cpa.txt, b.txt. a.txt is the source file and b.txt is the destination file. When you execute this command, the contents of this file will get copied to the contents of this file. If this file does not exist, it will create b.txt and then it will write the contents or copy the contents of a.txt into it. But if this file exists, that is b.txt exists, and it already has some data into it, then the cp command will overwrite the contents of b.txt. That means the previous data will get deleted. Okay, and that too without any warning. So this is the first type of cp command. Second, we shall see cp source file 1, source file 2, source file 3 and the destination directory. If the command has one or more arguments specifying file names and following those arguments an argument specifying directory name, then this command copies each source file to the destination directory with the same name created if not existed, but if already existed, then it will be overwritten. So here you can see I have given two source files, that is a.txt and b.txt. These two files, the copies of these two files will be saved in new directory. This new is not a file, it is the name of the directory. Okay, so a.txt file and b.txt file, these two files will get copied into new directory. And the last or the third type of cp command, cp-r. R stands for recursive source directory and destination directory. If the command contains two directory names, cp copies all files of the source directory to the destination directory, creating any files or directories needed. This mode of operation requires an additional option -r to indicate the recursive copying of directories. cp behavior depends upon whether destination directory exists or not. If the destination directory does not exist, cp creates it and copies source directory recursively as it is. But if destination directory exists, then copy of source directory becomes subdirectory under destination directory. So in this case, both these are directories. BCS is also a directory and BAC is also a directory. In this case, all the files which are there in BCS directory will get copied into BAC directory. But if we already, the BAC directory is already there, then it will create a subdirectory in this BAC directory and all the files will get copied in this particular file. Now we shall see the different options which we can use with the cp command. First option is the I option. I is known as interactive. I stands for interactive copying. With this option, system first warns the user before overwriting the destination file. That is, it will ask the user if you want to copy or not. cp prompts for a response. If you press Y, then it overwrites the file, and with any other option leaves it uncopied. We can see the example over here, cp-r a.txt b.txt. In this case, when you type this command and you press enter, the operating system will ask the user whether you really want to copy the contents of a.txt into b.txt. If you press Y, then only it will continue the procedure of copying. If you use the same command without the -i option, in that case operating system will not ask you whether you are sure to copy or not. So it is better always to use the -i option. Second is -r option, that stands for recursive, which we have previously seen. Copying directory structure. With this option, cp command shows its recursive behavior by copying the entire directory structure recursively. So we have seen in this case cp with -r option, bcs, bac. In this case, the operating system will ask for each and every file in bcs to be copied into the directory bac. So with this, we finish with the second file handling command, that is the cp command. Next we shall see the mv command. mv stands for move. mv is used to move one or more files or directories from one place to another in a file system. So when you want to shift from one directory to another directory files, we are going to use the mv command. mv stands for move. It has two distinct functions. It renames a file or folder. Okay, so mv command we can use for rename. It moves a group of files to a different directory. What is the syntax? mv with some option and the source which we want to give, that is the first file name and the second file name. So in this case, for example, a.txt, b.txt, that is now a.txt will be renamed with b.txt. If the destination file does not exist, it will be created. If the destination file exists, then it will be overwrite and the source file will be deleted. Now we shall see the options of mv. First, as usual, I interactive. We have seen previously in the cp command. This option makes the command ask the user for confirmation before moving a file that would overwrite an existing file. You have to press Y for confirm moving, and any other key leaves the file as it is. This option doesn't work if the file does not exist. It simply rename it or move it to the new location. So in this case, mv-i g.txt, b.txt, we want to change the name of g.txt now to b.txt. In this case, the operating system will ask you whether you want to move it or not. You are sure to move it or not. If you press Y, it will change the name of g.txt to b.txt. A group of files can be moved but only to a directory. Now you can see in this case, C1, C2 and C3 are files. When we give this mv C1, C2, C3, these three files will be moved in this particular directory. PRGS is a directory. mv can also be used to rename a directory. So in this case, if the name of the directory is PIS and you want to change it to PES. So this is how we can rename a directory. With this we finish with the third file handling command. Next we'll see the last file handling command, that is rm command. The rm command is used to delete files. rm command is used to remove objects such as files, directories, symbolic links and so on from the file system. A file once deleted cannot be recovered. In Linux operating system, if you would remove a file from the bash prompt, there is no recycle beam from where you can recover the file. This rm command, that is the remove command, can be used with two options. First is rm-i will ask before deleting each file, and next is rm-r will recursively delete a directory and all its contents. Now we shall see the syntax of rm command. Rm option either I or R, or both you can use IR, and the file name which you want to delete or the directory name which you want to delete. Example where I can delete a file, rm and the file name a.txt, you press enter, the file will get deleted. Here we are deleting multiple files, b.txt and c.txt, both these files will get deleted. Now we shall see the options. The first option, as it is interactive deletion. This option makes the command ask the user for confirmation before removing each file. You have to press Y for confirm deletion. Any other key leaves the file undeleted. It is always better to use the rm command with -i option. So in this case, when you type rm-i and the file name, you press enter, the operating system will ask the user if you are sure to delete this file d.txt. When you press Y, it will get deleted. If you press any other alphabet, this file will not get deleted. So remember that it is always important to use the -i option when using the rm file handling command. The last option is recursive deletion. This command performs a tree walk and will delete all the files and subdirectories recursively of the parent directory. At each stage, it deletes everything it finds. Okay, this is used when deleting multiple files or deleting a directory. If it has a subdirectory, the subdirectories has some files, it will go on deleting each and every file and subdirectory starting from the last node. So for example, don't try this command, never execute this command. If you type remove asterisk, asterisk means deletes all files in a directory. So don't do this practical. Asterisk means all files. So with this command you will delete all the files in a directory. Thank you.